All right, welcome to day 11. We're going to be talking about our view of God, which can be a kind of a confusing topic. Many people have vastly different opinions of what God is like, and so today we have Jim Horton in the studio. And so Jim, why is our view of God so important?
Well, I think most of the time, Chase, we tend to think about God as being very small. We humanize him and we try to make him fit our mold. And in the reality of it is, he's a very big God, much more than we could ever think about.
Yeah.
And one of the first studies that I did around God when I became a believer was from Knowledge of the Holy by A.W. Tozer. And that was the exact question that we were asked.
Yeah.
And I said, he reminds me of Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, white beard and flowing hair. And I got laughed at pretty well. But it helped me to understand who God really was.
Yeah,
and we studied his attributes.
I love that. There's a quote out of the book that says, what pops into our head when we hear God is the most important thing about us. So with all these competing views about God, what's the source that we can go to actually get a real view of who God actually is?
Well, obviously the real source is the Bible.
Right.
That's probably the only real source. But there are other tools out there. This type of study, there's resources called The Names of God, understanding who he is and what his attributes are all about. But I like to look at the beginning of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, some great understanding of who God is. I like Isaiah and I like Romans, and that's just beyond the Gospels because we always got to start there.
Well, right now in your life, when you hear the word God, what sort of attributes kind of pop into your head? What do you think about now when you hear the word God?
Yeah, I think about the infinite creator of the world, right? El Shaddai, the Lord God Almighty. And so he's so big and so much more than we could ever imagine. Isaiah says his thoughts and ways are much different than ours, and they are. In Deuteronomy, Moses tells us that the secret things of God are his, and what's known to us is a gift to us. So I think of him as El Shaddai, the Lord God Almighty.
Well, thanks for being with us, Jim. So take time to read and reflect on the article that's below this video, and we will check back in with you guys tomorrow.